Hey, Sue, you ever show up to open play and wonder, am I in the right spot? Do I know where to play? Am I playing at the right level? Or am I playing with the right group? Or ask yourself, what level do I play at? Am I a 3-5? Am I a 3-0? Am I a 2-5? And what we're going to try and do is we're going to try to help people out in this podcast.
Yeah, I think a lot of people need help with figuring out where they need to go and who they need to play with. And with everyone heading outdoor, more and more players are jumping onto open play games and leagues.
And we're going to try and help people understand what it's like to play outdoors because it's really a challenge. It's really intimidating. I mean, I played in an open play in Palm Springs, California, and I found it somewhat intimidating because I didn't know how they set up the courts, how they did it. But that's what we're going to talk about here. When you start going outside and playing open play, we'll also talk about how to get better and how to increase your level of play. What do you need to do? What do you do to try and prepare yourself so that you can get better in open play? That's what's really important. And so, welcome to Long Island Pickleball Podcast. I'm Frank Melillo. I'm with Long Island Pickleball Pros, and I do clinics, I do teachings, and we're going to start doing our teachings outside. And I'm here with
Hi, I'm Sue Cormier, also a certified pickleball instructor. I do clinics, leagues. I love getting new people into the game is one of my favorite things to do, as well as introducing um, people that get to be friends, fellow players. It's all part of my job that I absolutely love. So yeah, I also want to talk about the level that you should be playing at, how to conduct yourselves with etiquette on outdoor playing to avoid confusion and so that everybody has a good time.
Now, the thing about open play is now you're going to get all levels of players, right? You're going to get
Yes.
beginners, you're going to get advanced beginners, you're going to get intermediates, and that's going to open up to a whole host of cans of worms about what to do when you get there, especially for the beginners, because beginners say, so now, Frank, I've taken lessons. Where do I go from here? What do
Right.
I do? And you want to encourage them to play games. In fact, there's one woman, she's taken 3 private lessons, and I said, look, I'm going to try and get you into some open play spots.
Yeah.
And she said, I don't want to play an open play. I go, that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
Play. You
Right.
have to learn how to play the game. You got to play with other players.
Right.
So it's important to understand when you go out there to play the court etiquette, the rules. What's it like? The lay of the land. Understand, where should I play? How do I get involved in that? What do I do? But everybody's really excited about playing outdoors. And one thing you're going to find is there'll be more players and more energy.
Right. A lot of my players are excited to start playing. People that I started teaching in the fall, they've only played indoor. I had a woman text me the other day, I played outside for the first time today. But a lot of people don't know how to play outside. It can be intimidating walking up to your public court by yourself with your little pad on where to put it and what to do. I've actually had field trips where I take my students, I'll put out a big group text, hey, meet me at 11. I'll show you the lay of the land so that you're not so intimidated. And then I like to talk to them about fitting in at the right level, looking at the court, seeing. I like when I'm at the public court, I will say, hey, you would fit in great with the guy in the yellow shorts, that girl in the blue top, your level. So it's important to play at your level one. Don't just jump on the court randomly.
Right. Sure. Sure. And I've
Try to
seen
get as
that.
close as you can to a group that's your level.
So here's what happens when you do jump onto a court like that, right? When you finish, now when I play, it's 4 paddles on, 4 paddles off. No one's going to play with that guy. They're not going to play with him. He'll have his paddle there. Other people put their 3 paddles right next to it. They won't stack their paddle up to that person. Now, the most important thing about what we're going to talk about now is when you play an open play is understand what's going on out there. So what you need to do is you need to find your level of play, but you also have to find and talk to people when you get there and look at what's going on. Take the time to study how the play is playing, who's playing, and what level are they playing at. And that is watching the people play, step back a little bit and look around, watch how it works, watch how the rotation works, right? You have to figure out what the rotation has to understand. You have to know the environment. And what's important is, and we talked about this before, is find a friendly face. If you're
That's me. I'm like the mayor. I'm like the mayor at my public courts. Yeah.
I can tell you, I played, and I was intimidated when I played. I played at Mission Hills Country Club, private country club, right? I was there as a guest. To make it matters worse, my friend dropped me off in the middle of the street. Normally, you just stop in the parking lot and walk to the parking lot. I'm getting
Right.
out in the middle of the street and walking over to the court. So people are kind of looking at me. And I noticed that it was a social play. And my friend who was a member there said, look, the far courts are for courts of people who rented those courts. They have their 4 people. That's more of an organized open play. This is all social play. And this is where people play socially, all levels. So when I got there, I didn't see any organization. I didn't see any stacking paddles. I saw a lot of open courts, but I didn't see anybody playing. So now I'm thinking, do I stay there and watch people play and figure this out? Or do I start talking to people and saying, hey, find a friendly face. Let's find out what people are doing. What do you think, Sue? How do you work out when you go to your open courts?
I always like to help people that don't know what to do, help them find a spot. But organizing is what I do. There'll be 4 slots with 2 paddles in each slot. What are you doing here, people? So I will set, then I will help them line up 4 slots, 4 in a slot, 4 in a slot with people that I think are the same level. I don't want to be the dictator up there. I don't want to be, the manager, but I think it helps if one person is up there that can kind of help get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Keep
And
it
that's another
organized. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Get on the court. But don't stand there having your cup of coffee talking to your girlfriend. Get your paddle and get on the court. Move. Let's
Yep.
go. Yeah.
And those are the ways that people can understand how the flow of the game works. Everybody's gone to, and this happened even the other day. I was playing and I couldn't get anybody to come on the court. Right? Everybody was standing around. I'm like, all right, next, next, next. And then I finally had to leave the court and I said, okay, you want to play? You want to play? Hey, why don't you play? Because people don't want to exert themselves and say, okay, I'll play.
Right.
They think they're overstepping, but
Well,
someone's got to get on the court to play, right?
yeah. I was just going to say that. Oh, no, it's okay. You go. Oh, no, it's okay. And I'm like, no, you go. Let's go. Yeah. Don't be afraid. Jump on. It's your turn. It's your turn. Jump on.
Now,
You waited. It's you.
yeah, and sometimes though I can understand this. People see you play and they think, okay, I'm not at his level, so he won't want to play with me. And I think that might have been the case in certain instances where the players on the social play, there were very few that were at my level or played like I did. And they felt uncomfortable playing with someone who, he's way better than me. But, we all know we want to play with somebody, right?
Right. We just want a body. Sometimes you just want a body.
Yeah. I'd rather play with somebody who's not at my level than not play at all. Because then what do? You work on games, right? That you work on different parts of your game. But all you want to do is play. But it's important that you find your level. It's important that you understand what the environment is like, the leveling of the courts, and figuring out where the beginners play, where the intermediates play, where the advanced players play, and find your spot. Find where you belong. Okay. Now, there's nothing wrong with playing a skosh up. So if you're a 3-3, maybe 3-4, you can play with the 3-5. But if you're 3-0, don't jump in with the 3-5s. Right. There's a big difference between the 3-0s and the 3-5s. And people say to me all the time, well, I want to play up. Yeah, you want to play up, but you know what's going to happen? You're going to get frustrated when you start playing with the 3-5s because you're a 3-0, right? Because the ball's going to come to you. Your partner's certainly going to be frustrated because he's not seeing any balls. He doesn't even have, or she doesn't even have a game going. And the people playing on the other side waiting to play are not going to be happy when they win 11-0.
Right. It's very frustrating to play with someone who is quite a bit lower level than you. And when your opponents just target them. Just strictly target them. I was playing the other day. We were down 10-2, and they still had to hit that last point. Yeah, I think we won the 2 points just on my serve. That's the only time I got to hit the ball. And that's no fun either. So when you're out on a public court, don't just target the lesser person. Make it fun. Make it challenging for yourself. Hit the ball to the better person and see how they play. Make it a well-rounded game. Don't just target the lesser person. I should have saved that for my rant for the end of the.
That's okay. Well, yeah. We're not going to do the rant at the end. So Stick around, people, while you're listening to, because we're going to have a couple of good rants. We're not going to name names, but people will recognize them if they listen to this podcast. The thing about targeting people, you only target people when you want to start winning the game. I know when the scores start to shift and I'm down like 7-5, then I start targeting the lesser people. But if you're all at the same level, there's nothing wrong with doing that. Right? There's nothing wrong.
Right.
But you make a game of it. But the important part is having fun, enjoying yourself, and playing outdoors socially, because going outdoors for beginners and even the lower advanced beginners, they find it intimidating. Where do I play? How do I play? And what level do I play at? And that's why we're saying, you know what? Understand the courts, understand what the environment is like. Try and get a sense of who are the beginners and maybe stacking your paddles with them, even asking people, I'm a beginner. Where do you think I fit in? I'm a beginner. I want to play. I want to get better. Can you help me out? Help out those people. Don't just brush them off. Don't just push them aside. Don't just say, hey, look, I'm looking here to play, so don't bother me. But, everybody's excited to play outdoors. And what's going to happen is the courts are going to get extremely busy.
Oh, they do.
And so you are going to be doing different systems of how to play organized play.
Right.
So where I play, it's 4 on, 4 off. Regardless of whether you win or lose, you all come off and you stack your paddle. Right. I'm not sure how they do it on your side.
Yeah, 4 on, 4 off. 4 on, 4 off. And hopefully there are maybe 2 paddles in the first slot. So the 4 people I just played with will get to split and we'll get to play with different people.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. Yep, exactly. Mix it up.
Because sometimes the 4 people that you just played with, you want to play with again, and you're very tempted to paddle up behind the first 2 paddles, but then those 2 people don't get to play. So that's not really a fair way to paddle up either.
I see it right now where I'm playing indoor. Everybody paddles up their 4 paddles. So there's no mixing up of the play.
That's a problem too. Yeah.
What happened yesterday was there were just enough players to play on each court. So when you came off, you only played with those people. There was nobody else to play with because all the other courts, all the other paddles already paddled up at 4.
Right.
There was no mixing it up. And there was a time where there were 4 paddles already stacked, and then they walk away from their paddles. And so you're yelling, court open, court open, court open. I think by the 4th court open, that's when I took our 4 paddles and just said, okay.
Good for you. Yeah.
Because I'm not babysitting their paddles. I just don't do that. Stay by your paddle so you
pay attention. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Frank, can you explain to our listeners briefly on what makes a 2-5 player different from a 3-0 player, different from a 3-5 player, so they can have a little bit better understanding of what leagues to join, what clinics to join?
And also understand what level they play when people ask.
Right.
Well, 2.5 is someone who just steps on the court. They're just learning to play. They're learning how to serve. They're learning the scoring. They're learning the game, the rules. That's a 2-5 player. But if you've played 5, 6, 8, 10 times, you become a 3-0. And that's when you're now extending your learning ability. Now you're getting your serves in. You know the scoring a little bit, but sometimes your partner has to help you. But you know the position and you know the rules. You know you can't step into the no volley zone and hit it in the air. You know that you can't step on the lines to serve. You're different. You know the rules and you know how to play. I mean, that's the 3.0 level. And then from there are various different levels within the 3.0 till you get to the 3.5. Because then there's a 3.1, 3.1, 3.2, 3.3. There's a big difference, though, between a 3.0 player and a 3.5. So a 3.0 player probably plays once a week, maybe twice a week, and they're improving. So they're getting from the 3.0 level to the 3.1 to 3.2 to the 3.3. Now when you get to the 3.5 level, those people are playing at least 3 times a week. And they're playing pretty consistently with people at their level. And they know and understand the rules. They know what it takes to serve, come up, how to return to serve and come up. They understand the game. They understand the soft game. They understand thinking is really important. They try and position themselves, correctly on the court so that they can take balls out of the air. They do a little more poaching. That's the 3.5 player.
And their game is much, much more consistent at that point.
Yeah. Now, when you play at the 3.5 level, what are you looking for from a 3.5 player, sir?
Consistency, court positioning, uh, communicating,
Right. Moving up,
yeah,
coming up,
and the basics: deep serve, deep return. Come on up. Work
come on up.
together with who's got middle and court positioning. Come on up, dinking. The 4 or 5 basics.
Right. But they perfected them. They've gotten a lot better doing
Consistent,
that.
right?
So when you go from the 3-5 to the 4-0, so the 3-5s play about 3 days a week. The 4-0s, and there's differences between 3.6, 3.7, 3.8. Once you get to the 3.8 and the 4-0s and the 4.1s and the 4.2s, now you're talking about people who really know the game, understand the game. They've perfected their third shot drops. They perfected their serves. They have pretty good backhands. They're at the line. They're always up at the no volley zone. They're not staying back. They have their paddles up. They understand what the split step is. But there's a big difference between the 3-5s and the 4-0s, I would say.
Oh,
And
big difference.
then, and when we're talking about the 4.5s, that's a whole another level. You mostly and I mostly won't be playing with 4-5s and over because, as you know, when you start getting to that level, they're not introducing you and they're not inviting you to play with them. They only want to play with 3-4 players.
Yeah.
It's a very secret society. And someone said, "How do I
It's
break
elite.
that code?" Yeah,
The
how
elite.
do I break that code? They are elites. They are the elites.
Yeah.
How do I break that code? That's what they try and figure out, how to break that code to become, a
Right.
higher level player, but you'll never break that code. You need the secret handshake is what you need, right? But
Exactly.
and look, you're really looking to have fun playing this game. People who play at the 4.5 level are not having fun. I can just tell you that. I don't think they're having fun.
Right. Well, I knew a guy who played at the 4-5 to 5-0. He was going, semi-pro, going into being a pro, and he just quit. He quit being on the circuit because he got so bored. He's like, the game is the same, the same, the same, the same, competitive, the same. So he just gave it up, and he just played in regular leagues. He played down a little bit, played a different game just to mix it up and he wasn't having fun anymore.
Yeah, right.
So be careful what you wish for is what I'm trying to say.
So I
That's what I'm
remember
trying to say.
Harry Berg said that he owns Pickleball Plus, and he said he put together the 4-0s and the 4-5s playing, and he got like a sort of like a little league together to get them all to play on one court. And every single one of those 4-0s and 4-5s, and they came off the court, said, "Why am I playing with that guy? He sucks." They all say the same thing. Thank God I'm not at that level.
Right.
4-5s is
Right.
where the fun goes to die.
Exactly. I like it.
But it's important that you enjoy the game, play at your level. Again, play up a little bit, but don't overplay what you're doing, right? Try and
Right.
stay with where you are and stay what you're doing and understanding where you're playing and playing at your level. Because when you don't play at your level, it becomes very, very frustrating for you, for your partner, and the other people playing on the other
Right.
side. That's the part that kind of makes it not fun. And I think I told you one time where there was a guy who jumped onto the court and wanted to play up, wanted to play with us, and no one would play with him when they came off the court. He had his single paddle there, and 3 other paddles were just waiting. So just make sure you play at your level. Find your speed.
Yeah. I
Now,
totally agree.
now that part that about open playing we talked about is how to fit in. How do you fit into open play? And I think we went through some of the things. One is watch the group up ahead of you and watch the courts, right?
Right.
Watch where they're playing, step back, view what's going on, and look for friendly faces and ask
Right.
questions. Always
Yeah.
ask questions.
Let people know what your level is. Ask around who else is an advanced beginner that I will fit in that wants to play with me. Or admit I'm just starting out. I don't really know how to keep score. Who am I going to fit in with? Most people don't mind. I don't mind. I'll play a game with a beginner. I
Yeah,
was a beginner once, but I don't want to spend my whole day. No
no,
offense, beginner. I don't want to spend my whole day playing with you. But one game, I was up in my public courts. I remember one day last summer, and this woman came on, and she just put her paddle up and went onto the court. And we pretty much all know each other, and we're pretty much all the same level. There were maybe 12 or 14 of us up there. And she didn't know. She just didn't know. She didn't know that she wasn't ready. I don't want to say she didn't belong. Like we
right.
all She just wasn't ready. So after her first game, I kind of pulled her aside and I said, "Here's my card." And I say it in a nice way. We've all done the work. We've all put in the time. We've all taken the lessons. We've all practiced. We've done the drills. We've watched the YouTube videos. We listened to Frank and Sue's podcast on what to do, right?
Exactly. Right.
No.
That's
So
right.
you can't just jump on a public court and hope for the best. I think
Yeah.
everyone starting out needs to take one or two lessons, one or two learn and play clinics, to get to really start to fit in to the outdoor. I always say, take a clinic or two, a lesson to, then go out into the wild.
Right. Go out into the wild. I encourage my beginners to go out and play an open play. I actually have on my website, I will go with you to play at open play. I
Right.
will go with you
Yeah.
to a court and play with open play with you. And so you can understand, I will take them to the court. You can sign up for that on my website at LongIslandPickleballPros.com under clinics. But really, the most important thing about open play is communication. And it's communication no matter where you go. Watch what's going on, but communicate to the people. I'm new here. Communicate with them and say, how does the stacking work? Is it 2 on, 2 off? Is it 4 on, 4 off? This brings us to the leagues part. Now, everybody says, I only want to play outdoor. But Sue, what is the biggest advantage when you play in the league and you play indoor?
You know what you're getting. You know what you're signing up for. It's consistent. You're playing with people that are your level. I know my facility, Topspin, we do a really, really good job on helping those leagues. If it's a 3-0 to 3-4 league, we do a really good job of making sure those players fit into those numbers. You know that it's not going to rain. It's not going to be windy. You're not going to have to wait long for a court. Playing outside is great. I would never knock playing outside. I love playing outside.
It becomes very social, big social.
Right, right. But you never know what you're going to get.
Right. You never know.
Right. It could look like a beautiful day out your window. You get up to those courts and that ball is blowing all over the place. It's windy as can be. So I always make sure I have one day of playing indoor, or even in the summer, that I at least know I'm going to get one good solid day of playing indoor.
And there's nothing like waking up, looking out the window and saying, you're playing, let's just say hypothetically, you're playing on a Thursday indoor and it's raining like the dickens on Wednesday. And you're like, okay, I'm not playing today, but I know I have a definite game tomorrow because I'm playing indoor. I'm playing with my group. And that's the most fun thing to think about all week, is that you at least have one day that you're playing indoors. Now, there's different ways in which there are different leagues, right? What kind of leagues? How many leagues do you think there are? So what would you say the different leagues are?
Well, you have your social leagues that can be any level. You have, of your beginner, advanced, intermediate, advanced, all those different levels of leagues. Our facility, one of our most popular leagues is senior women only leagues.
That's a great idea. Great idea.
Everyone loves that. They know they're not going to get the, no offense, men, the bangers, the smashers, they feel more comfortable, more confident, a little safer being, with all women. And then the men get their turn too. All men, the men have advanced leagues, 4-0 plus. They know they're going to get really good competition, and have it be consistent.
Right. Let me ask you about that 4-0 plus. How many of them do you think are really 4-0s?
None. when someone will come in and
none of them are 4-0s.
Right.
I mean,
when someone comes in and says, "Oh, hi, I want to sign up. I'm a 3-8." I will put in the computer 3-4. Right. So.
Right. Yeah. So they have 4-0 leagues at Long Beach, and I played in it on Friday, and I thought it was consistent. They were all 3-5s and above. They weren't all 4-0s, but that's okay. Look, as long as you know you're getting a good game, I don't care.
Yes,
whatever.
exactly.
Whatever. But the leagues are, like you said, they're social leagues where you're playing with all different levels. But there's also duper leagues, right? It's important that you understand what a duper league is. It's dynamic universal pickleball rating. And that means you have to be at a certain level to play on that court, and they're going to ask you for the rating. Now, I'm a certified duper coach. I can do duper ratings, but understand that there are different levels and make sure you play at the right level. Ask the club questions about what level am I playing at. There are beginners, advanced beginners, intermediates, advanced intermediates, and then there's the 4-0, right? So the beginners are like 3-0. Advanced beginners, it's anywhere from 3-2 to 3-3 to 3-4. Intermediates is definitely 3-5 plus or 3-5. Advanced intermediate is like 3-6, 3-7, 3-8. And the 4-0s are just, they're calling 4-0s. I don't know if there's a number or a name you can call it, but make sure that when you're playing indoor, play at your right level. Now, a lot of clubs and some clubs will just put you in wherever there's an opening.
Which is not fair. That's not fair to anybody. Because at least when you're outdoor and you're not playing with people your level, at least it's free, right? But when it's time that I traveled and I'm paying to, play in the court, yeah, it's very frustrating.
And make sure you explain to the people that are putting you on that court that, listen, I'm not very happy here. Rather than sulk and play,
right?
No, I'm not happy. It's not the right level. I don't think you put me in the right club, the right level. But because you don't want to get frustrated playing at a lower level, get frustrated playing at a higher level. When I did leagues at a club that I worked at, so we had the advanced beginners, and then we had what we call the friendlies. The friendlies are the ones that I'm not playing with them. Just put us with this group here. We just want to play amongst ourselves because we have like 6 courts. And so I had the friendlies on 2 of the courts. And the other 4 courts played with the really competitive. We did the king of the court or the queen of the court. And the friendlies just had those 2 courts. They just played amongst themselves and were happy as anything. They always showed up. They always laughed. But they didn't care about keeping score.
That's funny. Yeah.
Score sheet.
Right.
So
that's fun.
Make sure that you understand what kind of leagues you're getting yourself into. Ask questions of the clubs and ask questions when you're going to play an open play to make sure you don't get frustrated. And I always recommend that my beginners and advanced beginners to find open plays and find open courts that they can play on with other people. And makes it important that you play with other people, but play at your level. And what makes it really happen is consistency and playing at the right level. We'll spend a few minutes about how do you get better on the court and what does it take to be consistent and what does it take to play at a higher level. One thing is there's consistency over power, which means that you don't have to hit every ball as hard as you can. Hit it with a purpose. Understand where the ball needs to go. Hit it to the person that's deepest on the court. Don't just hit it to the person at the net. And that's what I tell people. Do not hit the ball at the person at the net. Hit it to the person that's deepest on the court. And make sure when you hit that ball and you drive it, always move up. Move up to the no volley zone. Always come up. Don't stay back. Because when you stay back, Sue, what happens? You'll lose every point, every game, every match. And the other point is you have to understand and think and play the soft game. That's one of the consistencies about playing up.
Right. Like people always ask me, Sue, the ball is coming right at me. They're banging the ball. They're driving the ball. What do I do?
Right.
How do I get that ball? How do I hit? I said, you don't. You figure out how to stop them from banging the ball. When I hit the ball high up and they smash it down at my feet, how do I get that ball? How do I get that point? You don't. You stop popping it up. So you have to think not how do I defend those balls, but how do I not send those balls over to the net so they come back at me like that.
So the important part about that, and this is what I tell all the people, make sure your paddle is always up at the no volley zone line. Make sure your paddle is always up as you're coming up to the net. Paddle up. Paddle up means arms extended, paddle in front of you, because that's going to be your Captain America shield. That's what's going to keep the ball from getting away from your face. So you got to make sure you have your paddle up in front of you at all times.
You got to protect the moneymaker at all times.
Exactly. And the other thing is the split step. So when you're told you're supposed to come up, you also understand that you have to come up, but make sure that you're going to do the split step. Stop, hit the ball, stop, and hit the ball. So we have a few more minutes left. Let's get to our segment, which we call the rants and herd on the court. And people, I can tell you, I have a dozen rants I could talk about. But 2 of the rants that I want to talk about right now are playing an open play, and a guy just jumps onto the court. We didn't have a very good game. And at the end of the game, the guy goes up to the other 2 players, and he goes, when I come up to play, I generally like to play with either people at my level or better. Dude, that is the wrong thing to say. You won't even touch my paddle.
Rude.
I'm not happy.
Wow.
So at the end of that exchange, I
Harsh.
said to the guy, so should we do this again? I said, yes. But I pointed to him and I said, I am not playing with him. He
Good for
plays over
you.
there. You're going to come on my side and play here. And what happens? Every ball went to that guy. We wound up winning 11-7. So that was the justice of that. That's my rant. And my second rant is people who always paddle up with the same four players.
Yes. Yeah.
Let other people play. So you have four plays. So you're only playing with the same four people. People, mix up the paddles. Break up the four people you want to play with. Try and figure it out so that not everybody's playing with the same four people
Right.
at the time. Those are my two rants. How about you, Sue?
All right, Frank, I'm ready. Rant number one is people that don't know court etiquette, especially now that we're all going outside. People that leave the gate open, shut the barn door. When someone serves, misses, and that ball goes rolling out the gate, down the steps into the parking lot, ugh, don't do it. Shut the gate behind you. Walk around. Don't cut across. Or I'll be playing a game and someone will walk right behind me. Like go out the gate and walk around. I think you're guilty of doing that.
Guilty
Yeah.
as charged. Take me away.
Yep. Yep. The pickleball police are coming for you.
I'm guilty.
So yeah, just loud music. Some people love it. Some people might not like your loud rap music or whatever. So just be mindful. Hey, I'm going to put some music on. Is everybody okay with that? Usually people say yes, but but just make sure things like that. So especially again, playing outside, you're at a public court, but you have a lot of people there to consider.
Right. I'm
Okay,
guilty.
I have one more rant.
Go ahead, please.
I walk on a court and I said, "Hi, my name is Sue. Just want to let you know I'm left-handed." My future partner literally stomped her foot and rolled her eyes at me, and I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Should I cut it off and play with my right hand?"
That's a good one. I like that.
She stomped her foot at me, and I said. We just need a little bit more. I get so confused playing with a lefty. I hear it all the time. So lefties that are out there listening to us, please send us your comments, ask questions, tell us your experiences on the court. If you have a hard time fitting in with those righties, it is a right-handed world. I went to Catholic school. So between Catholic school and not knowing how to teach me how to write script and pickleball, I'm coming back in my next life as a righty, but it's such an advantage playing with 2 forehands in the middle. No need to stomp and roll your eyes.
Sure.
We can work it out. So I want to hear from the lefties on how they handle it.
And by the way, kudos to you for announcing that you're a lefty before you start the game. I played with a lefty. I played 3 games with this guy before I realized he was a lefty.
Right.
And then I looked at my partner and I said, "You realize that guy's a lefty on the other side of the net?" He goes, "Oh, really? I didn't even know that." I go, "Oh, gosh." I will now. We did the rants. I'm going to tell you something about hurt on the court. So I played at Rancho. I played at Mission Hills Country Club in Palm Springs, and it was all social play, begging people to come and play with us. So I knew that there was this woman who said, "Look, I'm a 2-5." Now nobody's a 2-5. I said, "Wait, have you ever played before?" She goes, "Yeah, I played lots of times." I go, "So you're not a 2-5?" So I said, "We'll play together." And when we finished the game, she said something so nice and so complimentary. She goes, "You know what? It was a lot of fun playing with you because you were very encouraging, you were very complimentary, and it made it fun. And I really enjoyed playing with you." Now, granted, she was playing with her husband on the other side of the court, and I hit every ball to the husband because he was weaker. But I didn't feel bad about that. But it's always nice to hear nice things about,
Right.
It's fun to play with you, and thank you for playing with me because, some people are not quite as nice. So sometimes it's nice to hear nice things about that.
Yeah, very nice. So something I heard on the court the other day, I said to people coming on the court, I'm like, "Oh, hey, have you ever played before?" "Oh, yes. Yeah, I've played before. I'm playing. They've never played before." "Oh, wait." I'm like, "Wait, I thought you played before." "Oh, yeah. 2 summers ago at my Aunt Betty's country club." And I'm like,
"Oh my gosh, that's
yeah.
the worst."
Right. So now when I ask if someone has played, I'll be a little bit more specific. Yeah.
The absolute best I heard was a guy who said, "Frank, you do a league. I want to play it as a 3-5." And I go, "Oh, you want to play as a 3-5? How many times have you played?" I mean, how often do you play? He goes, I haven't really played. I go, well, what makes you a 3-5? He goes, well, I play 3-5 at tennis. I'm really athletic. So I could not convince him that he could not play in the 3-5 league. So
Right.
finally, I invited him down to play as a guest, right, as a sub. And when he finished playing, I called up one of the players on the court and I said, so how'd my friend do? He goes, oh, the tennis player? I go, yeah. He goes, he didn't play with us. We let him play with the other people because he's not that good. He's terrible. So when I saw him, he goes, yeah, you're right. I think I know what you're saying.
Right. Some people have to see it for themselves, though.
Yeah, and they all think, oh, I played tennis. I love when they say, well, I played tennis. Yeah, I played tennis 40 years ago.
Right. I call tennis, I say, don't use that 5-letter word on my court. You have to break the tennis out of people and introduce pickleball to them.
I told you I played with a guy yesterday and he never came up. And so as we were leaving, one guy goes to him, hey, are you still playing tennis? He goes, yeah. I go, how'd you know? He played like a tennis player. He goes, yeah, I know. So, Sue, it was always a lot of fun. This is our 4th podcast, correct? This is our 4th one. I think it's one of our best ones. And we're learning every day, every week, every time. Again, I'm Frank Melillo, Long Island Pickleball Pros. I do clinics. I do leagues. I help people play the game. I do private lessons. Please follow us on YouTube. It's Frank Melillo 5421 on YouTube. I'm going to try and change that name. But also, Sue?
Sue Cormier, I teach mainly at Topspin and Hop Hog. So you can always find me there. We do pretty much the same thing as Frank. Frank is Western Nassau County. I'm mid Suffolk County, mid-eastern Suffolk County. So we like to get together and play whenever we can, somewhere in the middle. But please send us your rants, comments, questions. I really want to hear from my fellow lefties, especially.
And pass this information on to other friends. Follow us. We want to hear the comments. And we're going to have special guests. Next week, we're going to have a special guest, right?
Yeah.
Yep. It's going to be a surprise guest.
Okay. Yep. Sounds good. Thanks, everyone.
Right, make sure. See us on the courts and see you next week. Thanks for turning in.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.